And then God comes in and goes, girl, let's clean this up a bit. So before we get started, let's just pray real quick. Holy, I thank you for these people. I thank you that they have chosen to be here today. I ask that your spirit be here. I ask that you minister to hearts. You see things that we can't see. You know the places that need healing that we can't see. You know where hurt has been done. You know where scars live. You know where we hide our stuff. I ask you to let your spirit go to all of those places and to begin healing and showing us our path forward into healing. Help us be people who seek to walk in your love and in your ways. Be with us here this day. In your name I pray. Amen. Amen. So last week we talked about, anybody remember? Commitment or convenience. There's an easy way, there's a hard way. And Carl's like, oh yeah, that. And do we always choose the way that is best? And so that was kind of the build-up for where we're going over the next few weeks. See, in Lent, people like to give a lot up. But I've chosen to focus us on one thing. So would somebody play a game with me? You see on the screen it says I am, and then there's a blank. If you're comfortable putting a word in that blank, can you hold your hand up so I can see? Anybody? All right, Kate, you are. I am. Huh?
Love.
You are love.
Yeah. Crazy.
You are crazy.
I was describing you.
Huh?
I'm weird.
Weird. Anybody else?
I am trying.
Trying. Anybody else? We good? Okay. We never call on the new people. It's okay. You don't have to look at your feet. It was a joke. I'm sorry. So, yeah. I want you to notice what nobody said. Not that everybody played, but all the people when we said, okay, fill in the blank. We got weird, crazy, love, trying. But what we didn't get is I'm a member. Nobody said I'm a member. And why is that? Is it something we even think about? Do we need to think about it? I think, yeah, we do need to think about it. I'm not unhappy with us, but I found myself struggling at the greater level, the denominational level. And my struggles led to a lot of, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What is this about? And so then someone recommended a book, and I read the book, and I was like, wow, this gets me. So today, know this. If you feel like your toes get stepped on this week, next week, or the week after, trust me, my toes are black and blue because I'm dealing with these things too. So, I am a member. Remember way back in the day there was a credit card and their slogan was, membership has what? It's privileges. Okay, so that kind of infiltrated all of our churches. And church people started looking at church as like a country club. We come here, we pay you some money in the offering plate, so you're supposed to do what we say. You're supposed to do for us. And that was never what church was intended to be. So what is church membership? What is it supposed to be about? It's kind of funny. Paul wrote about it. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, chapter 13, and chapter 14. Paul is coming at the Corinthians hard about you're arguing over stupid things that do not matter. This is what it means. This is how you do it. Interestingly about Paul, he also wrote Romans and Ephesians, and guess what else? He says that stuff there too. So he was a preacher that went around saying the same thing over and over. So when y'all give me trouble because I talk about love so much, just stop. Paul did it first. I'm good. So 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 12 through 26. You can easily enough see how this kind of thing works by looking no further than your own body. Your body has many parts, limbs, organs, cells, but no matter how many parts you can name, you're still one body. It's exactly the same with Jesus. By means of one Spirit, we all said goodbye to our partial and piecemeal lives. We each used to independently call our own shots, But then we entered into a large and integrated life in which Jesus calls us. This is what we proclaimed in word and action when we were baptized. Each of us now a part of a whole. The same Spirit. The old labels we once used to identify ourselves, labels like Jew or Greek, slave or free, are no longer useful. We need something larger, more comprehensive. I want you to think about how all this makes you more significant, not less. A body isn't just a single part blown up into something huge. It's all the different but similar parts, arranged and functioning together. If foot said, I'm not elegant like hand, embellished with rings, I guess I don't belong to this body, would that make it so? If ear said, I'm not beautiful like eye, I don't deserve a place on the head, would you want to remove it from the body? If the body was all eye, how could it hear? If all ear, how could it smell? As it is, we see that God has carefully placed each part of the body right where God wanted it. But I also want you to think about how this keeps your significance from getting blown up into self-importance. For no matter how significant you are, it is only because of what you are a part of. An enormous eye or a gigantic hand wouldn't be a body, but a monster. What we have is one body with many parts, each its proper size and in its proper place. The way God designed our bodies is a model for understanding our lives together as a church. Every part dependent on every other part. The parts we mention and the parts we don't mention. The parts we see and the parts that we don't see. If one part hurts, every other part is involved in the hurt and in the healing. If one part flourishes, every other part enters into the exuberance. How many times have you heard that scripture? Lots. How many times have you heard the next chapter, chapter 13? Everybody know what 1 Corinthians 13 is? You hear it at almost every wedding you go to. Love chapter. Love is patient, love is kind. Because Paul goes from saying it takes all of us to how in the world do you make that work? You have to love. And then Paul, in 13 short verses, tells you what love is. It's not easy. But there were two words that stood out. The verse where it said we're all functioning. Functioning. Do we even know what functioning means in church membership? And see, when I say church membership, understand me that I don't mean if you're on the roll of Thrive. I mean if you come here and you call us your family, because we have our little slogan, right? We're more than church. We're family. If we're your family, if you're a part of this family, if you're a part of this community, then you're supposed to be functioning. Well, what does it mean to be functioning? What am I supposed to do if I'm functioning? Anybody got guesses? Besides the love thing?
Show up.
You're supposed to show up. You know what else you're supposed to do? You're supposed to pray for me, and you're supposed to pray for one another. And sometimes people piss you off and you don't want to pray for them, much less see them. So how you going to get through that? You're going to have to pray a lot. You're going to have to pray a lot because the love that we were singing about has to find a way to infiltrate you because it ain't easy. It ain't easy. We're all here and we all need each other. We're all a part.
That's right.
I might not be as pretty as you, but I'm a part. I might not be as funny as you, but I'm a part. And it takes all of us to make this thing work. So we have to come to an understanding of what it means to be functioning as a church member, as a member of Thrive. What is expected? All right, we said we got to pray. We got to show up. We got to love people. What else? Communicate. That's a good one. We don't do so good with communication sometimes. This whole ghosting thing that has started through social media, since that's a thing, I don't get it. I mean, I knew it existed before social media, but now you see it everywhere. People are posting about it, and you're like, wow, I think I did that back in 8th grade. But then it was all over the phone. So yeah, communication. We have to learn to be able to talk about things. We have to learn to find a path, right? Because sometimes stuff happens, and you're like, how do we get to there from here? Because these people just made a big old mess of this, and now what? But what did it say? There's a thing that we are in danger of. Do you remember where it said self-importance? See, people like to get blown up and think, oh, I'm the most important member of the body. I do the most. There's a fable. I might say the dude's name wrong. Aesop, what's his name? The fable man. There you go, him. He wrote a fable, The Belly and the Members. And in it, the members get mad. The belly just gets to consume, gets the food and doesn't have to do anything. We're out here picking the food up with our hands, putting it in the mouth. The teeth is chewing it up. Belly's not doing anything. So the members rebel against belly. Well, you don't do anything, so we're not doing anything. Okay. Now, if I'm belly, I'm going, this is not going to turn out the way you think it's going to turn out. So the hands refuse to pick up the food, which means the mouth then has nothing to take in. The teeth has nothing to chew. So what happens in a couple of days? Weakness comes into the body. Because without nutrition, can your body function? No. So after it goes on a while, the hands are like, well, I can't even lift even if I wanted to get some food now. And the teeth are like, I don't know if I remember how to chew. And all this stuff's happening. And then they say, okay, belly, we get it. You do something. We don't really see what you're doing, but you are providing a function. So you do your thing, we'll do our thing, and we'll all go back to being whole. Whole. There are people that do things that we don't see. There are people that work for our community that are not mic'd up, are not in the band, are not in kids' church. But they work. Either out in the world, when they're talking with somebody and showing those people love, or when they're just saying, hey, if you really need a place, you can come to Thrive. We love everybody. And we don't care what you look like. We don't care who you love. We don't care how you do that. But, we want you to be here. We love everybody because we believe Holy loves everybody. Not everybody sees that stuff. Not everybody sees the times you pick the phone up and call somebody or text them and say, hey, are you doing okay? You haven't been around in a while. You all right? Or when you text them, it's like, have you gotten your butt up and are you on the way to church? I ain't going to say who I texted that to. There are jobs that happen that we don't see. But it doesn't mean that that person isn't contributing. It doesn't mean that they're not as important as a member of the band, as a kids' church teacher, as anybody else. We all belong and we're all significant. Because why? Because together we make this.
That's right.
We make this. Us working with Holy. That's what makes this function. But if we start trying to do this through our own ego and our own self-importance, it's not going to work. If we make it all about the people, it's not going to work. If we keep Holy first, and we keep that love first and foremost in everything we do, guess what's going to happen? You ain't going to step off into a pile of caca. Because you're going to look at the pile of caca and go, that don't look like Holy love to me. So I'm going to go this way, away from the caca. And the more you do that, the more it's evident, the more it shows, and the more people notice. People notice when you become a person who is a peacekeeper instead of a person stirring the pot. They notice when you're the one jumping in front of somebody to take the hit instead of being the person delivering the hit. When holy love rules us, we do not attack. And this is hard. And this was a hard one for me to swallow. You hear me? And this is why. It is so easy as a human being to sit back and go, well, I could do that better. This would all work better if they would just listen to me. You know, these people ain't got no degree in accounting. Why are they telling me what accounting is supposed to look like? I'm telling them. They don't tell me. Travis, when he tries to explain money to me, even though I have a degree in accounting. I mean, you know. It's hard. Because you want to judge it. You want to look at it and go, well, this ain't growing. How many times have you heard people in this church say this church ain't growing? Let's don't lie. We've said it. It's been said in here.
Plenty.
It ain't growing. And then instead of saying, it ain't growing, let's fix it, it turns into, it ain't growing, whose fault is it? Christy's. It's her fault. She sucks. Get somebody else. Or it's the music. The music sucks. Change the music. Maybe it's our location. Maybe we need to change our location. Maybe we all need to wear matching outfits. We start listing all of these things to blame it on, instead of coming back to what we should come back to. Are we functioning members? A functioning member supports their church with their time, with their money, and with their effort. Instead of asking, should I serve my church? A functioning member is asking, how do I serve my church best? What we've done is we've taken that commercial. Membership has its privilege, and we've put it into the church system. And instead of being people who serve, which is what we are called to be, we want to be people who are served. Think about your Amazon Prime membership. I love that thing. I get a wild hair. Oh, I want some purple shoes with some glittery stuff on. Go on Amazon, find it, click it. 2 days later, it's on the doorstep. Right? It's a perk. And I love it. People come into church with that. I'm here, do something for me. Feed me. Make me happy. It don't work that way, boo. We're supposed to serve one another. So yeah, I might be the person that has the microphone on, but every person in here has a job to do, and it's going to take every single one of us doing our jobs, whatever those jobs are, and doing them to the best of our abilities, and we have to quit that blaming everybody else for the mess. We're in here. It's us. It's ours. We own it. We clean it. We do it. By doing our part. By being functioning members. You with me?
Yes.
It's rough, I know. So do you remember the question you're not supposed to ask? The question you're not supposed to ask. Should I serve my church? You don't ask that. Instead you ask, how can I serve my church to the best of my ability? And then you wait on God to show you. Because the answer will not be the same for every one of us, because every one of us are not an eyeball. I could use one of y'all to be a brain, though. I'm just going to say it. So here's the pledge for today. I'm going to read it. You think about it this week. Think about if you can do it. As a functioning church member, I will give. I will serve. I will minister. I will evangelize. I will study. I will seek to be a blessing to others. And I will remember, if one part hurts, every part is involved in the hurt and in the healing. That's what it means to be functioning. We recognize our dependence. We recognize that we need each other. And we choose to hold tightly to one another. And yes, there are broken people. They're going to come here. They're going to say, I'm a part. And they are. And then you have to love them. Even when it sucks. Even when it's hard. Even when you cannot understand it. Because that's what being functioning means. Because we have dysfunctional, which is the world we don't want to live in. And then we have functional. I am a functioning member. As a functioning church member, I will give. I will serve. I will minister. I will evangelize. Everybody know what that word means? Okay. I will study. I will seek to be a blessing to others. I will remember if one part hurts, every part is involved in the hurt and in the healing. Because I am a functioning member. And all the people said,
Amen.